Are you ready to scale and outsource your business?
Okay, let's go.
Welcome to the Outsourcing and Scaling Show. I'm your host, Nathan Hirsch, a show where we talk about everything Amazon, Shopify, e-commerce, and digital marketing. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to Outsourcing and Scaling. I'm your host, Nathan Hirsch. We are here with a special guest, James Smiley. James, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you having me here. Hello.
So I'm going to read your bio, and it's awesome. James has been recognized as one of the most innovative and in-demand entrepreneurs under 40. He has led $0 to $20 million growth for not one, but two different companies, been part of a Silicon Valley software as a service IPO, and consulted for 3 of the Fortune 10 companies. James has been behind the scenes paid advisor to over 560 executives and entrepreneurs. His primary specialty is helping entrepreneurs with rapid revenue acceleration by leveraging online automations and his proprietary digital marketing systems. Pretty cool, James.
I appreciate it, man. It's funny. I consider myself just a normal dude. So my dad always told me the moment that you don't put your pants on by yourself, then you made it. But until then, you're just a normal dude. So go to work. That's what my dad told me. So
I love it. We're all about, I always say, when you get too high, or when you get to the top, don't get too high. When you get to the bottom, don't get too low. You got to stay that even keel. But yeah, take us back. Before you were an entrepreneur, what were you doing? Did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Give us a glimpse into the past, the previous life.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up really poor in the inner city in Seattle in a place called Rainier Valley, Beacon Hill, if anybody looks it up. And I don't know. I just had this knack for making money. Even when I was young, I used to work multiple jobs, multiple paper routes, things like that. I learned how to double the revenue on a paper route. Then I got another paper route and double the revenue of that one. And I did simple things. Like I just knocked on every door and just made an offer. Like it was so crazy. You'd just be surprised how many people don't even know a paper is in their area. And they got these marketing teams and all these people try to figure out how to market. And it's like, dude, if you just go knock on the door, people, you know what I mean? Just go knock on the door and put an offer. You don't even know how to sell, but if you can put your offer out there, people will buy. Like people wake up more than ever before in history wanting to buy something. They just don't want you to sell them, So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I started. Was involved in IPOing a software company in my 20s, made my first 6 figures when I was 20 years old. And then that allowed me to get recruited to a software company. And we were the first Google Maps, essentially, is what we were the first Google Maps. So that went really well. And then from there, I just bridged that and leveraged that to just do consulting for hundreds of companies and just coaching programs stuff. I've been doing executive coaching and entrepreneur coaching for over 12 years. And it's been really awesome and fun. It's my passion to help people grow their revenue.
So you work with a lot of different businesses, small startups, coaches, influencers, larger companies. What's your favorite and why? Do you prefer the smaller people getting up the top? Do you prefer people that are already established and taking them to the next level?
Yeah, I really focus on the solopreneur right now, and I think that's going to be the big thing. So I made that shift about 2.5 years ago, because I really realized that capabilities were at a place that were unprecedented, and that it was only going to get more. There's only going to be an increase in capabilities for the average human being. So if you have a phone and internet access, which you can do now, you couldn't do 5 years ago, or definitely not 10 or 20 years ago. So, if you can dance and you're a kid, you can make $3,000 to $5,000 a month getting sponsors to dance on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, right? And so like back in my day, I'm 38. Back in my day, when I was a teenager, people told you you're dancing on the street, like you go get a life, go get a job, go, you know what I mean? Like, so if you're good enough and you can provide content that people want, the capabilities are there like never before for you to, serve your market, serve the world, make money, whatever it is you want to do. And so I realized that shift was happening about 7 or 8 years ago. I realized that this era was coming about because of social and things like that. And so I've always tried to move my expertise to where the leverage is the highest, because at the end of the day, you only have a certain number of hours you can work, right? Like Gary Vaynerchuk or Steve Jobs doesn't have more than you, or didn't have more than you. And Elon Musk doesn't have more than you. Like you actually have the same amount of hours that they do. So the question is, how do you leverage what you're doing? And one of the best ways to do it is to be in a highly leverageable, if that's a word, highly leverageable market like social media, internet marketing, those kind of things where, you can do one to many and, there's all these capabilities that are available. I believe economists and politicians, and I think, they'll tell you that it doesn't matter if people are left, right, up, down, whatever they believe. Like economists will tell you, and a lot of people tell you that, things are going to crash. I believe it's the opposite. They might think things are going to crash, but that's because Fortune 500 brands, I believe there's going to be more Fortune 500 brands crashing in the next 5 to 6 years than ever before in history. And we've already started to see that. But that doesn't mean that there isn't an uprise of millions of people like us. Right. And so I saw this wave coming in, and I knew that I could be a part of supporting it and enabling people.
So let's talk about the solo entrepreneur. Where do you see people struggle the most, and where can you make the most impact the fastest?
So it's interesting. There was a study, I believe it was by Carnegie Mellon. It came out 2 years ago, and it really specifically studied entrepreneurs who are using the internet. And it said that now, typically in entrepreneurship, 8 out of 10 businesses fail. On the internet, it was 96%. So almost 100%, like almost everybody in some way is not doing what they wanted to do, or we're not doing their dream on the internet. And when that survey said that the number one reason that people, checked a box and said, this is why I'm failing, wasn't money. It wasn't they didn't have skills. It wasn't the typical things. It was the word overwhelm. And overwhelm specifically means you know what to do. You've read the books. You know the nomenclature. You just don't know what to do in what order.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're there's so much to do. It feels like you can't get the right things done. And so you end up failing. So I think, having really good systems, being really good at enabling people with automation, and teaching them how to leverage their time and their money, and everything, their data, their resources, what they know, like all that stuff can help make them money. And so, although I'm really good at funnels, sales copy, and all those kind of things, I find you can have an amazing funnel, amazing sales copy, but a bad business system and a bad business process, and never actually get your business off the ground. You look at all the 2 Comma Club winners, or all these people who crush it in ClickFunnels or whatever. They are amazing at running their business. Their business models are really efficient. And so, so many people just don't have that. And that's what we provide, so they can have stability of growth, and automation and freedom and those kind of things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you mentioned never before have people had so many opportunities. Well, with those opportunities just comes a lot of things to do, a lot of lessons, or people saying, hey, do this, do this, do this. And it really comes down to the prioritization. So if you're someone, let's say there's someone listening who has struggled to prioritize, do you have any tips for them?
Yeah, if you struggle to prioritize, I think the number one thing we all need to do is figure out what's the core, whatever you want to call it, the core purpose, the core skill, the core, your destiny from God, whatever you want to say, like what is your thing, and if you don't know, there's a couple ways to figure it out. One, what do you enjoy? You can write down a short list of that. Number 2, what do other people think you're good at? That's kind of easy to figure out. Like, people will tell you. And another good way is like, what can you do to make money? And not that the world's about money, but money will open up a lot of doors and get you places and to help you, if you want to build wells over in third world countries, money is how you do it. You know what I mean? Right. You can't do it with just talking about it. So, so I think, kind of figuring out what you're good at, and then figuring out, how do I spend 80% of my time doing what I'm good at? That's the key, is like, and that's tough when people don't have money, they don't know how to outsource or whatever. But once again, capabilities are there more than ever before. So you can hire people. Like for me, I have, we on any given year, we're going to do somewhere around $1 million. Our goal is really about a net profit margin of over 80%. And so we can, I can do 800 grand and make more cash flow into my bank account than friends that I know that do 2 or 3 million. So, so it really just depends on the given year, what we're doing. Sometimes, we're way over $1 million or more. But for me, it's about cash flow and about leveraging that cash flow. And And one of the really cool things is, I really have two, so kind of, they're contractors who are involved in my business. And then on any given month, we're going to pay between 6 and 11 people that are contractors, depends on what we're doing. So we could scale that back on months. We could, maybe we're doing a little bit more, but those capabilities were never there before. For a company my size to be able to do that, we would need an office and, all these things. And now with technology and communications the way they are is unbelievable, what's possible.
So let's talk about hiring a little bit. You've obviously hired a lot of people. You've helped people hire other people. Your video's back. You've helped people hire a lot of people. What do you look for when you're hiring someone? I'm sure you've kind of figured that out a little bit by now.
That's a really good question. So I have a little bit different philosophy than most, but I believe mine works really, really, really well. So the one that we teach is, we teach, you want to, try to hire within a process or a system where, so this is really in the kind of the virtual assistant kind of world where somebody's not coming to work with you every day. It could be US, it could be abroad, wherever. But really what we're going to do, we're going to put a really good application out there that talks about, we're looking for the ideal candidate. We're not looking for people who are good. God bless those people and whatever, but we need like people who are rock stars. We want the best of the best, right? If I'm hiring a salesperson, it'll say like, you have to have the abilities and the capabilities and the skills to do 150 grand or 180 grand or more per year. If you don't have the skills for that, do not apply. And so it doesn't mean everybody that applies is going to be that rock star, but you're going to get a certain mentality of person who has the guts to apply to that. So that helps you out a lot. The second thing we'll do is in there, it will tell them exactly what to do. So this is how you're going to figure out, can they self-manage themselves? Because that's ultimately what their job is. Their job is about, doing a repeated system over and over and over again without you seeing, right? Without you knowing. And we do not check in with them every day. There's people out there who have huge coaching programs who teach that. Right. I have found you do not need that if you know how to bring them in, onboard them right, and manage them by results. Because at the end of the day, I can see if the social media posts are going up. I can see if the videos are being edited, right? Like, so I don't need to, like we have very few meetings in our company. Our company runs extremely efficient. We might have 1 or 2 total meetings, maybe 1 meeting a week. Like we very rarely have meetings. I don't like meetings because it really ties up a lot of people's time. So if we're having a meeting, it needs to be really efficient. It needs to be about productivity, right? And like you think about pulling 5 people together. I mean, the amount of money and resources that are being spent there is incredible. In corporate America, people have meetings all day long. They're in boardrooms and conference rooms, meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. And basically all people are doing is talking about problems. No one in the room actually knows the solution. You know what I mean? And that's why companies are inefficient. So to kind of loop back, so when we look to hire somebody, we will give them the process of exactly how to get hired. How do you beat everyone else? We will literally tell them that. We'll tell them to send a video. This is really important. We'll tell them to include your favorite color or something weird and random, just to see if they pay attention. You know what I mean? And just to see if they can follow a process. We might give them a link that's somewhere out there on the internet, and we'll type it in there and say, this, and then we'll write the word dot, and then we'll write the rest of the URL because it's really long. And we'll just see, like, do they realize this is a period, not the word dot? You know what I mean? Like, because there's spaces in between that word dot. We're trying to see, like, what's the intellect? Well, like, can this person solve a problem on their own? Do they need to message me? Do they, and then they'll send me a video. And so typically you might get, 50 applications, 100 applications, but you're really going to get 5 or 10 videos. And I mean, that's how you created a tremendous amount of leverage and automation around a process where now I've got the 10 best candidates right in front of me in my inbox. And then we'll look at those, and then we'll take the best people out of there. We'll give them a specific task. So this is kind of the next level is if you get the task, you're one of like the 3 or 4 people, and a lot of times we'll pay people for that because we want them to do the task. We want to see what they're going to do. And honestly, it doesn't cost you that much to have 3 people do a 2-hour task, but that task is going to send them all over the internet. I mean, it's going to be like Google search this, find an article, post it here, start a Dropbox account for free, go over here and do that. Like, and they've got to solve problems, and it may not have anything to do with their job. If they're a video editor, it may say, find a video on YouTube about this, download it, edit here. I need 16 seconds of this, then go here and get some royalty free this and get a music and do all this. And like, they've got a huge process and a thing to follow. And basically I'm trying to see, like, can they follow 21 steps? Yeah. Can they literally look at a video, pause it, go do it? Then, because that's going to be their job, and really you're going to come down to 1 or 2 people every time. You're going to come down to 1, maybe 2 people who are actually going to do that task and do it right. Most people will not do that task. You'd be surprised. If you get 10, half of them won't even turn it in. So the people who do it right and do it well, now I've seen how they can perform, what they can do. It doesn't matter if it's a sales call, whatever. Like I'll tell them, find somebody, do a mock call, record it on this app. I mean, literally, because I want to see how they are, in live, and then from there, we'll usually hire them. And what we do is we apply a lot of pressure in the first week. Okay. Unless I know for sure, like maybe I'm hiring a friend's assistant or something like that. But if I don't know them, we are going to apply the max amount of pressure in the first week, almost to where they're going to be like, man, I'm out of here. Like, we don't want that, but we want to know how do they perform under pressure and can they actually hang with us? Because the last thing you want to do is figure that out in 6 months. Now, everybody knows them. Now you're going to look like you can't hire people. You know what I mean? Like, it's so if you can figure it out in the first week, and sometimes we'll even give them a severance or something. We'll get paid for the rest of the month, like if they're nice, and they did it, they tried. But we're going to put a lot of pressure on. That's what we personally do. But if they make it through that hell week, they're gold.
Talk to us about the strategy that comes behind just growing a business from 1 to 5 million, because that process from 0 to 1 million, okay, you hire a few people, you figure it out, and you've helped people take that next level from 1 to 5. And what works from 0 to 1 doesn't work from 0 to 5. Do you have any insight into that kind of business owner?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is you have to have a reality check on where you really are today. Okay. I can't tell you how many people come into the programs that we do or coaching or whatever, and they're posturing. Right? They're trying to impress me or impress someone else. And it's like, if you tell me you're fast at running the ball and then I give you the ball in the game and you're slow, well, that's your fault. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to tackle you. Like, so I can't, there's no one can prepare you if you don't actually have a good reality check of where you really are. And if you can't communicate that, then you're in trouble because of yourself. So the reality is, okay, a lot of people we work with, we're one of the only coaching programs that do this. We will work with people who are pre-revenue. In fact, almost all big high ticket programs, they will literally tell you, and they tell people like me, do not ever work with people who are pre-revenue. Do not work with small companies. Well, the reality of that is those people, even though they're good, even though they're smart, even though they have a talent, they're cool people, but they don't know how to coach those kind of people. That's the bottom line, is they don't know enough to coach those people. We don't have any problem doing that. So the first goal, if you're not there, is you need to get to 10K a month. Okay. I promise you will never hit $1 million unless you hit 10K a month. There's no mathematical way to do it. Right. So Let's not even talk about $1 million. That's why I tell them, like, let's get to 10K, right? Let's figure that out. Once you get there, then it's about duplication of processes, eliminating. It's real. So everyone heard this phrase now, 10X, right? Like, Grant Cardone's made it big. Well, before Grant Cardone, 10X was actually from another guy who taught what's called the 10 times business growth theory. So he actually called it 10 times, and then Grant was in that program, and Grant called it 10X and made it big. But the 10 times theory is not what Grant teaches, actually. Grant teaches 10X your revenue, okay? 10Xing revenue is truly a small company strategy. There is no Fortune 10 that will 10x their revenue this year. Zero. That is a small company startup strategy. So it sounds really good. It sells really good, but it doesn't implement. Okay. The real 10 times strategy that started out with is the best one, which is, how do you 10 times productivity? How do you get 10 times more of the lifestyle that you want out of your business? So that could mean that you double your revenue, but do 50% less work this year. Now, you know what I mean? Like, that is the real 10X mindset, the true, authentic. And that's what we teach is like for some people, 10Xing revenue is where they need to be because they're at 10K, they're at 2K. So that's totally fine. But, when you get to like $1 million, 10Xing $1 million is extremely complicated. So the first place, realistically, where we set up plans is how do we get you to 10,000 a month? Once we get you there, I mean, we just had a girl, Sonia Lee. She did 54 grand in her first month. She's from California. Ed Bordy did 106 grand in his first month. Like, we have people who can crush it in their first month. Okay. These are people who go zero to that, by the way. They're not like bringing in revenue. They're going zero from that to that. And then from there, my next strategic goal is the plan around how do we get you to $1,000 a day. Okay, $1,000 a day is achievable. It might be $7,000 a month, depends on what you sell, but it ends up being about $30K a month. Okay, if you can get there, okay, you're close to being a 1%er. A 1%er is $412,000 a year. Okay, you're at 300, 350, 380, 280, you're somewhere in that range. Okay, at that point, you can make, because I've taken a lot of businesses to that point, you can actually make a logical decision on, hold on. Love the kids. I love them. So at that point, okay, at 300 grand, whether you're a 10-man operation, 50-man, one woman, doesn't matter. At that point, you can actually make it, because you know how to acquire customers. You've got a sales process down. You know how to support them. Like, you've got enough in your business to actually say, do I want to create $1 million business here? Because you could actually look at hours, effort, energy, all these important things that you need to track and go, do I really want to 5X my time? Do I want to spend 5x more, 5X more time in the business? Or am I okay? Or is my goal going to be to 2X the business and do the same amount of work, right? Like when you get to 300 grand, it's like a magical number where you can make a very realistic prediction of what you want to do, and sometimes like $1 million, people are like, dude, I don't care about $1 million. I just want to, make 100 grand a week or a month or whatever, they set a goal. And so at that point, one of the best strategies ever, okay, I've done this for a lot of companies, is spending like 100 grand and bringing in a top-notch operations person, somebody who can get a little bit of equity. They'll work for 80 grand or something like that, but they are a operations genius. You can get these people from big companies. They'll take a lot less pay than they make now because they're into the entrepreneur thing. And you can get people that will take your sales process, 4X the amount of revenue or 4X the amount of leads you're getting, take your support, double the support so you can handle that, double up accounting. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's literally a mathematical equation. They're literally like write it out in a spreadsheet and you'll see it happen. So, at that point, that's one of the smartest ways to grow from that point is to, you could do it yourself too, but I can tell you, if you bring on one of these people, that is their life. Like, they know it, because truly it's more of a mathematical equation than executing on that. Once you get to about 300 grand.
How does someone make that decision? Because I've always been in the mentality, okay, we hit 1 million, let's get to 5. We hit 5, let's get to 10. And for me, taking a step back, and maybe that's because I don't have a big family and I'm kind of all focused, and maybe that'll change when I get older. But how does someone make that decision whether, okay, let's try to 10X or let's really just organize this business and take a step back and have more of that lifestyle business?
I think it's really based on what the person wants to do. What really makes them happy. And, for me, like my business can run Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have all our meetings, all our coaching. Monday and Friday is kind of a buffer day. Like if we need to have meetings, we can. I love my business so much. I pretty much work 7 days a week. Like it's not work. You know what I mean? Like, right. So, but see, I like it because I've set it up so I have that flexibility. Like if I don't want to work for 2 or 3 days, I really don't have to. I might need to check an email every now and then. I've got my, one of my right-hand people, she'll tell me, hey, you need to look at this, and I'll just look at some things here or there, but I'm really not like hustling, I'm not balling out for like 3 days in a row when I want to take a time off, or I want to go out to the ranch, our ranch, and do some hunting or fishing with the kids or whatever. Like, I have that flexibility. So yeah, it really just depends. Like for some people, they don't care. They don't own any outdoor equipment. They don't own a boat. They don't, they don't have kids or whatever. They want to just see what they can do. And That's the cool thing about business. Like there's never ending what you can do. And there's no unethical, like, well, if you make more than 10 million, then you're unethical. There's no such thing. You know what I mean? Like you can go do whatever you want, make whatever you want, as long as you're, not doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and the beauty is, especially if you want to help people, I'm telling you, it has been proven more than ever before. It used to be 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people say, well, if you want to help people, don't make money, don't be an entrepreneur, just go try to raise money and put out a charity, pail. But I'm telling you, you can put out, and I'm not against, I give money to the people who put out the charity buckets, but like you can put out a charity bucket and put it on 10,000 grocery stores. Or if you but the guy who works for 5 years and crushes it will smoke all those people in 1 year. He'll smoke what they can do in 20, literally in 20. That one person in 1 year will smoke what they can do in 20 years. And that's been proven. That's why all these guys and gals make all this money, and they now become the philanthropists, like the new cool word. And some people make fun. They're like, well, if you're really a philanthropist, you would have been a philanthropist this whole time. But it's like, you don't understand. Like what they're saying is they have like they can do like Bill Gates can do in 1 day what a huge charity would take them 30 years to do. Because people think like, okay, when you give these charities, people think, oh, start a 501c3, all this stuff when you have no money. Well, what you don't understand, okay, is for every dollar you give to one of those kind of broke, and I'm not making fun, I'm just saying most 501c3s are really broke. When you give to a broke 501c3, 90% of the money goes to the operations of that business. So your money is not hitting the field or hitting the well or whatever it is you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like you're given $1, only 10% of that actually goes towards building a home or helping a child or whatever it is. So, but when you give to the Bill Gates Foundation or whatever, it's like a huge percent of that money goes out, plus he's giving his own money. So, which is 100% of that money goes out. So anyway, yeah, it's endless what you can do. It's really about what you want to do, what you feel called to do.
I love it, man. This has been great. Any last tip or advice to the entrepreneurs out there listening?
Well, the one thing I would say, number one, get used to failing, get comfortable with failing. There's like 5 big failing lessons. One is like, there's like fail early, fail fast, fail cheap, just fail. Like you gotta fail so much you can finally get to a win. That's how it is when you start. And so don't feel like, oh man, I did those leads, it didn't work. I sent those emails, it didn't work. I did the sales call, it didn't work. Good. You're just like everyone else. Mm-hmm. Literally. You're exactly like all the winners, all the players. Like you are finally at first base. This is where we all were, So like don't feel bad about that and get really used to failing, but learn how to do it cheap. Is the key. That's what my business partner, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, always tells me. And the other thing I would say, and this is a big thing I really believe, is like, if you have a dream or something in your like heart or whatever it is in your mind where you're just like, I got to do that. I got to develop that. I got to sell that. I got to be this person. I want this freedom, whatever that like weird dream that like you never really tell people, because like if you told them, they probably think you're weird, like they don't get it. So you very rarely tell people. If you have that thing, okay, And that dream, that idea, like it doesn't stop. And it's here again. It's here today. It's there when you go to bed. You wake up and it's there. You're sitting there listening to this podcast and it's there. I am telling you, that is your ultimate, most real, most like physically tangible confirmation that you are supposed to do that. Okay? Because I won't go into all the psychology of it, but like, I'm not thinking it. Nate's not thinking it. You're thinking it. You know what I mean? Like the way, even if you might say, well, hey, a bunch of us are agency owners. Well, you live in a different area. Like the way you want to do it, the way you can do it is different than Nate or me or someone else. And so let that be the confirmation and the confidence that you need to go out there and do it and take risks and take chances. And people like Nate are here to help you. I'm here to help you, whatever you need. But that's the beauty of it. You know, wherever level of learning you're at, if you need to make millions or thousands or hundreds, the capabilities are there more than ever before. So don't be a victim. Don't be a complainer. Just go out there and get it done. And I'm telling you, if you just put your head down, you'll be surprised at how far you can go.
I love the word weird. Us entrepreneurs, we're all weird. James, how can people find out more about you?
One of the best things to do is just look me up on Facebook, send me a friend request or PM me, whatever. And then jamessmiley.org is where kind of all the cool stuff is. So you can get, free playbooks on stuff, free USB drives with all the $1,000 masterminds that we do. You can get that stuff for free. Or if you want to join a coaching or something like that, there's a bunch of programs and stuff on there at every level. So whatever you guys want to do, if I can help you in any way, let me know. But appreciate you having me on here and appreciate all your followers too.
Of course, it's jamessmiley.org. Check it out. He's got a really cool offer, a free USB that he'll send you with a ton of great content on it. Thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy this content? If so, click like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel so we can continue bringing you great content all about hiring.